So, what if I told you that a love story was the key to a multi-billion-dollar quest? Seriously. And what if that quest wasn't just about getting back with a lost love, but was actually designed to teach a lesson to all of us, for generations to come? We're about to unravel how a promise made in Kyoto could spark a $60 billion mission, one that completely redefines what we think about love and legacy.
Yeah, it all kicks off with this number, $60 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. That's a staggering amount of money, right? The kind of cash that can reshape entire industries, maybe even a small country. But here's the thing. In this story, it's not about power or profit. Not at all. It's the price tag on a deeply, deeply personal mission.
And here's the catch, because there's always a catch, right? A mentor, who's only known as SP, throws down this just seemingly impossible challenge for our narrator. He basically says, you want to go back to Kyoto, the city where you first fell in love? Fine. But first, you have to build a $60 billion charitable foundation. I mean, what? So you gotta ask, what on earth happened in Kyoto that was worth that kind of astronomical price?
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go back. Way back. We're heading to Kyoto, a city our narrator calls his second home, and the place where this whole incredible story really began.
So, picture this. It's a gathering of Vietnamese students. Our narrator, just a young guy in university at the time, meets this woman, and bam, he is instantly captivated. Now here's the thing, she's married, and she's more than a decade older than him. But despite all that, this undeniable connection starts to form between them. And this is where the story's central theme really clicks into place, and it's all built around this really clever Japanese wordplay. So, get this. The whole story starts as a tale of Jun-ai, which means pure love. You see, it's symbolized by the heart. But the ultimate goal, the mission, it's to transform that into Jun-ai, pure artificial intelligence, symbolized by the diamond. It's this incredible journey from passion to programming, from raw emotion to a much, much grander system.
So what did this pure love actually mean for them? Well, it wasn't your typical romance, not even close. It was this incredibly intense emotional bond, and it was all built on a single promise, to protect each other. And that meant never, ever crossing the physical line that their situation, with her being married, totally forbade.
And this was their special place, the Kamo River in Kyoto. This is where so much of their story unfolded. This spot became so important, so significant, that you could almost say it's now being held hostage by this whole $60 billion mission.
But of course their bond was tested, and it happened almost right away. The first major battle, believe it or not, wasn't against her husband. Nope, it was against his own family. And it kicked off a conflict that he calls the 5 years of Cold War.
So his parents get wind of this relationship, just rumors, and they fiercely disapprove. So to protect her and to protect the bond they had, he makes a really drastic decision. He completely cuts off all communication with his parents for almost 5 years. Think about that. No phone calls, no letters, just nothing.
And this commitment, this silence, it all led to this incredibly tense moment. He's on a trip back to Vietnam, and his parents, tipped off by a friend, actually tracked him down at the airport. Can you just imagine their desperation, calling out to their son just hoping for a reunion after all that time?
And his response? Absolute silence. He just kept walking. He later wrote about it saying, "That's just how I am. When I've made up my mind to protect someone, I'm willing to cut off even my own family if they don't understand." Wow.
Just when you think their bond is absolutely unbreakable, the story takes a devastating turn. He calls her one day, and before he can even say a word, he just hears her sobbing on the other end of the line. She had just found out she was pregnant with her husband's child. As he puts it, my logic understood that, but my heart shattered.
Now, you'd think this would be the end of their story, right? A moment of total heartbreak, maybe even betrayal. But instead, this became the exact moment that his love transformed into something else entirely, something so much more profound: selfless sacrifice.
Okay, so what he did next is absolutely crucial. He didn't walk away. When she got weak from her pregnancy, he rushed to her side. He started cooking for her, and he was terrible at it at first, so he went out and bought a pregnancy cookbook to learn how to make better meals. When it got too hard for her to even go to campus, he bought her a brand new computer, and then he typed out her entire graduation thesis for her, himself.
I mean, his actions were so profound, so selfless, that get this, even her husband recognized the depth of his character. Her husband later told their child, "Learn from Uncle Ha, he is a great man."
That's just an incredible testament to the respect he had earned.
And so, their pure love didn't die, it evolved. It went beyond romance and became this deep, unbreakable familial bond. A relationship built not on what could have been, but on the unwavering support that actually really was.
Okay, and that brings us all the way back to today. Because it turns out that entire, deeply moving story of love and sacrifice we just went through, that was just the prologue. Yeah. And now, it's being used as the foundation for a very, very strange blueprint.
You're not going to believe this, but the story you just heard, it's literally being packaged and sold as Volume 1, an ebook for $50. But it is definitely not just about selling a memoir. It's all part of a much larger and way more complex plan.
All right, now check out this sales model, because this is where it gets kind of weird and cool. When you buy the book, you don't just get the book, you get a bonus of green grapes. But the amount you get totally changes. The first 1,000 buyers, they get a whole kilogram of grapes. But after that, the reward shrinks, like dramatically, as more people buy in. It's basically a real-world lesson in economics. The pioneers, the early believers, they get the biggest reward. But for everyone else, the mass market, the reward becomes pretty much symbolic.
But the grapes are just the physical part of the reward. Buyers also get a digital asset called BTC2Div. You can think of it like a loyalty point, or maybe like a tiny, tiny fraction of a stock. It's a digital token that represents a small piece of a much larger asset called BTC2. The whole idea here is to give every single supporter a real, even if it's small, stake in the project's future value. So when you pull back the curtain, what you see is that this whole ebook sale is actually a 5-step curriculum in disguise. It's teaching you, in real time, how to take a powerful story, find the right audience for it, price it correctly, create a bonus that builds scarcity, and finally, how to connect all of that to a larger system of value. Basically, asset thinking.
So, why go through all this trouble? I mean, why so complicated? Well, because this isn't just a marketing lesson. The entire project, the love story, the $60 billion goal, the ebook, even the green grapes, it's all designed as one massive real-world case study. It's the living, breathing curriculum for an educational program with this incredibly ambitious title, AI Cares for Your Descendants.
And that leaves us with one final, big question. When you look at all the pieces we've laid out, the pure love in Kyoto, the incredible sacrifice, that impossible financial goal, and this bizarre marketing plan, what are we really looking at here? Is this just a story about a man's undying love? Is it a tale of destiny finally coming full circle? Or is it one of the most elaborate, emotionally driven, strategic plans ever created? You know, maybe it's all three at once.